So up next, we are going to go over the income eligibility process for free and reduced price meals in the school meals program. In this section of the training, we'll be talking about how to determine eligibility for free and reduced price meals. This is a required process for all SFAs participating in the National School Lunch Program, or NSLP. And you can begin this process July 1st of each school year. So you can't begin it before July 1st, but you can begin it on or after July 1st of each school year. So since today is July 18th, you can start this process for school year 23-24 if you haven't already. Next slide. At the beginning of the new school year, your students are on what we call carryover of eligibility. And carryover eligibility means children who were on free or reduced price meals at the end of the previous school year begin this new school year with those same benefits. So the prior year's eligibility is good for the first 30 school days or until the student's name either appears on your direct certification list or a new application is processed, whichever occurs first. So if they submit a new application before the 30 days, then that's when you would change their eligibility benefits. In your letter to households attachment B, you can specify a shorter return date than the 30 days to ensure that you get a prompt return on your applications. However, any free and reduced price students must be given until the 30th school day to turn in a new application or show up on that direct certification list. So you'll need to determine your school's 30th day of operation, taking out any days that you do not have school or school is not in session. And then as the 30th school day approaches, we recommend contacting households that have not turned in a new application about 7 to 10 days before that deadline. Because without a new application on file, that household is going to go to full pay on the next day, the 31st day. So you'll need to change anyone who is not on your direct certification list or who has not turned in an application on either in your student information system or on your benefit issuance document. They will all go to paid after the 30th school day if they haven't turned in a new application or showed up on your direct certification list. Next slide. So let's look at an overview of eligibility and how households can qualify for free and reduced price meals. There are two ways that households are approved for free or reduced price meals, or two processes that you can use to determine if a household qualifies for free or reduced price meals. One way is by the household submitting a free and reduced priced meal application. And the second way is by the students in the household being directly certified through the direct certification system in CNP. Let's first look at the free and reduced priced meal application. Under the free and reduced price meal application, income eligibility is when the students qualify for free or reduced price meals based on household size and income. Categorical eligibility is when you can establish eligibility for children who are automatically eligible for free meals because they or another member of their household receive assistance program benefits, or because they are determined individually eligible through an other source categorical eligible designation. So these would be foster, homeless, migrant, runaway, SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR. The second way a household can be approved for free and reduced price meals is through the direct certification system in CNP. Direct certification allows schools to certify children as eligible for free or reduced price meal benefits using participation data from other programs, and it eliminates the need for an application. I will explain both of these processes more in depth here on the next few slides. I did want to point out that under direct certification, they can be certified through SNAP, TANF, FDPIR, foster, migrant, Medicaid free, or Medicaid reduced. Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced are listed in green because I wanted to point out that the only way to qualify for free and reduced price meals through Medicaid is through the direct certification system. So as we talked about in part 1, they cannot list their Medicaid number on the free and reduced price meal application and qualify for free meals that way. The only way to qualify for free meals through Medicaid is through the direct certification system. Also, I wanted to note that Head Start is also a categorical eligibility category. So if a district has a Head Start program, a list of the enrolled students must be kept on file, and those students qualify for free meals. Next slide. Another important topic I wanted to cover is overt identification. So overt identification means a child's eligibility status is not disclosed at any point in the process of providing free and reduced price meals. So this includes everything from the application process to the point of service where the student receives their meal in the cafeteria and go through the lunch line. And we'll talk about this later in the presentation. But at no point during this process should it be obvious that a student qualifies for free or reduced price meals. So you shouldn't be, just handing out applications to certain households or, identifying them when they're coming through the line as being free or reduced price students. That information is all confidential. Next slide. So remember I had said there's 2 processes for determining free and reduced price meal eligibility. The first process we're going to talk about is the direct certification process. Direct certification is a simplified method of determining free and reduced priced meal eligibility. For households that qualify by direct certification, there's no need to submit a meal application, which means less work for the family and less work for you at the school. And this helps extend free and reduced price meal benefits to more students, which I'll explain more about coming up. Next slide. So how do you get to the direct certification system in CNP? Well, first you'll want to log into the CNP system using your username and password like Sean showed you earlier. And then you're going to click on applications in the top dark blue bar, and then click on direct certification / direct verification as highlighted here in the red box on this slide. We've also listed the website where you can get to the direct certification as well on this slide. Next slide. After you do that, you're going to come to a page that looks like this, and you'll need to go down kind of towards the bottom of the page where that red arrow is and click on, these words will be in blue, direct certification, direct verification. So you'll click on those words from the next screen, and then that's going to take you to, next slide, a page that looks like this. So this is what your screen will look like once you have access to the direct certification system. So from here, you can view your match list. You can do a student lookup. You can upload your enrollment. We've talked a lot about the orange enrollment tab. You can complete direct verification. You can view your possible match list, your lookup results, reports, and email notifications. This screenshot, along with the website link to how to get to the direct certification, is included in your handout packet. Next slide. So the first thing you're going to need to do in order to get matches on your direct certification list is upload your enrollment. For non-public schools, you can upload your student data into Person ID on or after July 1st. And actually this year it opened June 1st. So if you've already done that, that will work. You do need to do periodic updates throughout the school year. If you've uploaded your match list, your enrollment data into Person ID and you're still not getting any matches, or you're not able to upload your enrollment into Person ID, you can use that second option, which is to upload a complete student information file into the CMP direct certification enrollment tab. So if you are a non-public school, you think you've uploaded into Person ID and you're still not getting any matches, I would definitely recommend to go ahead and upload your enrollment file or your student data information into that enrollment tab in the direct certification system. Public schools need to upload a complete student information file into the CMP direct certification enrollment tab on or after July 1st. After your student information system is approved to interface with Advisor, then uploading into the CMP direct certification enrollment tab is no longer required. And if you were on part one, as we said earlier, we expect that process where the student information system and Advisor start to talk to each other and interface. We expect that to occur around the end of August or the beginning of September. But to get started, you don't want to wait until the end of August or the beginning of September to see who is on your direct certification list. So to get started for this school year, you do need to go ahead and upload that student enrollment data into the enrollment tab of the direct certification system. If you need help uploading your enrollment into Advisor or Person ID, you can contact the NDE help desk at the email address listed on the screen here. So that's only for Advisor or Person ID. If you need help with the direct certification system, that orange enrollment tab, contact one of your program specialists here at NDE in the Nutrition Services Department. Next slide. So just as a best practice, like I said, even if you're a non-public school, we do recommend that all schools, public and non-public, upload your enrollment into the direct certification system, just because that's the best way to ensure that up-to-date matching is occurring at the start of the school year. You can click on that orange enrollment tab that is outlined in the red box here on the screen. Next slide. From there, it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. So you'll see student enrollment, upload student information, and then click here, that blue here button where the red arrow is pointing to is where you can click to download an Excel template with the correct formatting and column headers to use when uploading your student enrollment information. Next slide. You'll want to use this template in the enrollment tab. So you do have to use this exact template. The template is an Excel file that looks like this, and you will need to fill in all the information that's listed for each heading. Next slide. And as a reminder, we did show this in part one, but these are the formatting rules that you must follow in order for the data to upload successfully. So these are the formatting rules that you need to put in on that Excel spreadsheet. So your school building number needs to be numeric, and it needs to be a 3-digit code that may require either 1 or 2 leading zeros. So if your school building number is 1, you would have to put 001. Or if your school building number is 10, you can put 010. Your local student ID needs to be numeric. Your NDE student ID also needs to be numeric, and it's 10 digits. Your Student's last name, alphanumeric. Student's first name is alphanumeric. Student gender needs to be either M or F. So that's a common one that kind of holds people up. If they put in male or female, that will result in an upload error. And then the date of birth needs to be in the format shown on the side here. And this is required for student matching. Next slide. So just a couple tips for having a successful upload in that direct certification enrollment tab. You want to keep your file in protected mode. That'll maintain the format of the original file, meaning that you'll be required to enter the data to meet the formatting rules. And then save the file for uploading as an Excel file type or a .xls file type on your to your local computer. Next slide. After you've saved that file, to wherever you save files on your computer, your desktop, or your own personal drive, then you'll want to click on Choose File, that dark blue button, and then you'll choose the file from wherever you've saved it in your computer. Once you have your file in there, then you're going to click on the green Upload button. Next slide. You will know your upload is successful when student names and data appear under the submitted student enrollment records. So you can see here they have, the submit date and the list of names and all the information. So if you see names appear down here, that means that your upload was successful. The other thing that I wanted to point out is to make sure you look at the number of results. So it's, in this example, they have 130 results. So if you're expecting, that you uploaded 130 students, you should have 130 results. If the number is less, then maybe not all of your students got uploaded. So you'll need to take a look at that. Next slide. An upload is not complete when you get the message up here, the following schools have not uploaded any data, and you don't have any student records listed down below, as I showed you in the previous slide. So this is just an example. It's from a previous school year. So don't worry if this is your school. That doesn't mean that yours is not complete, but that's just an example of what will show up if your student information file upload was not successful. Next slide. So after you've uploaded the district's enrollment in that student information file, your direct certification match will be generated. The direct certification list is generated through computer match with SNAP, TANF, FDPIR, Medicaid, foster, and migrant households. Matches are identified overnight after the student enrollment has been successfully uploaded. So after uploading your enrollment into the enrollment tab of the DC system, you'll want to access that green match list tab of the DC system, or that green match list tile of the DC system the following day. And that will, if students show up on your direct certification list, then that eliminates the need for them to submit an application. Next slide. So to access your match list, you'll want to go back to this main screen where you have all those different colored tiles and click on the green match list tile. And that is how you will access the students on your match list. Next slide. The match list displays all students who have been directly certified. Students who appear on the match list qualify for benefits starting on the list date and are not required to submit any additional documentation or paperwork to receive benefits at either the free or reduced price level. New additions can be made to the match list daily, as DHHS and NDE student databases are updated nightly and can result in new matches anytime the student data is added or changed. So after you upload your enrollment, then it will take overnight. You won't get any matches until the next day on your match list. You'll then want to refer to the green tile on the direct certification home screen for the most recent date that your school's match list has been updated. So you can see here, like the last list date is listed as 7/12/2023. As you get new matches, that last list date will be updated so you can see the last date that you have matches on your direct certification list. An email notification is also sent when new students have been added to the match list or the possible match list. And we did include in your handout packet earlier, and we talked about in part 1 how to make sure that you have access to those email notifications. Next slide. So the next slide shows an example of a direct certification match list. After clicking on the green match list tile in the direct certification system, you will see a list of directly certified students. If you enter 7/1/2023 in the search from box up there in green, and then click on search all dates, that will be your list of directly certified students for school year 23-24 from July 1st through the current date. Now, you're probably not going to have matches dated July 1st, but anytime after July 1st through the current date, those will be your current matches for school year 23-24. Once you have your match list pulled up, you can sort the list by each of the column headings by clicking on the column titles outlined in orange on this slide. So for example, if you sort by date, you can see the students who are most recently added to the list. Or if you click on last name, you can sort your list alphabetically by student last name. So let's go through the column headings. The list date is the date that the student was matched to the DHHS database and appeared on your direct certification list. The qualify header shows the qualifying program or how the student is being approved for free and reduced price meals. You can see the students in this example are approved based on SNAP, foster, and Medicaid free. Student last name, first name, gender, and date of birth are all also listed and pretty self-explanatory. And then the remaining information, such as the NDE student ID, that information is pulled from what you have uploaded and your information from Advisor. So once you have your list sorted how you want it, you can export the list to an Excel spreadsheet, and you can print it for your school records. It is advisable to periodically save and print your list as you have new student matches added. The print list button is not working, so I will go through with you how to save and print your list, but we are aware of that, and we're still working with our DC programmer to resolve this issue, but there is a workaround, which I'll show you in the upcoming slides. Next slide. I did just want to show you that a list of those qualifying programs can be found under the maintenance tab in the direct certification system. So here you can find the abbreviation for those programs along with the full description of what they stand for. And on the next slide, this is included in your handout packet, and it's a nice summary of the qualifying programs. So the qualifying programs are listed on the left-hand side in that first column. The direct certification system acronym, so SNAP, TANF, FDPIR, foster, migrant, homeless, Medicaid free, and Medicaid reduced. The benefit level, so what level of meals they receive. Do they receive free meals or reduced meals? You'll notice for all programs, they receive free meals, except for Medicaid reduced, they receive reduced meals. It also lists whether you can extend those benefits to other household members. So in most of those cases, you can, except for foster children, migrant students, and homeless students. Those benefits remain with the individual and they do not extend to other members of the household. And then on the far right side lists the priorities. So for example, students are always matched at the highest priority. So for example, maybe a student qualifies for both Medicaid free and SNAP. The student will match with SNAP benefits as it's the highest priority program. And Head Start does not appear here. It will not be on your DC list, but I did want to mention that Head Start students are categorically eligible for free or reduced price meals, and their benefits do not extend to other household members. That benefit remains with the individual as well. Next slide. I also wanted to talk about direct certification with Medicaid. Not all Medicaid programs meet the Child Nutrition Program income eligibility guidelines. So only those students on your direct certification list can be certified for free or reduced price meals based on Medicaid. Some students in the same household could be listed as Medicaid reduced and some as Medicaid free. If you come across the situation, you will extend the highest benefit level to all household members. So you would extend the Medicaid free to all household members, and all household members would be free then. Households directly certified as Medicaid reduced can still submit a free and reduced price meal application. And if it shows that they qualify for free meals based on household size and income, then they would be eligible for free meals based on their application, and that would override the Medicaid reduced in the direct certification system. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit more about extending free and reduced price meal benefits. If you're extending free and reduced price meal benefits to other household members, the district must be able to link the student to the students in the household that are on the direct certification list. So, in your student information system or however you indicate that what students are in the same household, we would just need to see that they are all part of the same household. In order to extend benefits to other household members, you'll just need to print your list and add these students manually to your list, or export it to Excel and enter them into the Excel spreadsheet manually. You're not able to add those to the list within the CMP system. So there's no way to go out and get a student in the CMP system and add them to the direct certification list if they do not show up on there automatically. That's a manual process that you just need to put either write on your direct certification list, or like I said, add to your Excel file, and then note that you extended benefits based on whichever student's eligibility meal benefits. For the purposes of carryover, categorical eligibility must be extended to newly enrolled siblings residing in the same household. Next slide. So like I said earlier, that print list button is not working. So you'll need to export your match list data to an Excel file. It can be, any of those file formats that are listed there, either CSV, XLS, or an XLSX file. Do note that the export will only include data based on filtering your search dates. So make sure that you have your full list from the beginning of the school year listed in your search dates if you want to export all of your matches on your direct certification match list. And then once you export that to an Excel file, you can format that, however you want, just like a normal Excel file. You can sort it, and then you can print it, save it to your computer and print it from your Excel file. Next slide. So with direct certification, the approval date for benefits is the date the student's name appears on the direct certification list. That date can be found in the first column titled List Date when looking at the district's direct certification list. Households directly certified for free meals do not need to submit a free or reduced priced meal application. Direct certification takes precedence over a household application. So, for example, if a household applied with a meal application and they were approved for free meals on their meal application, but then their child also qualifies for free meals based on the direct certification list, the child should be approved for free meals based on direct certification, and their method of approval should be changed from application to directly certified. So that household's application should then be pulled and filed separately, because that household then would no longer be subject to verification since they were already directly certified. You'll want to notify households that appear on your direct certification list using Attachment D, the Notice of Approval or Denial Letter. This is located on the NDE website and located later in your handout packet. Note that you can mark that they're approved for free meals or reduced price meals based on direct certification, and you do need to indicate the qualifying program that they were directly certified by. As we already talked about, the one exception for the direct certification taking precedence over that meal application is if the student is on the direct certification list as Medicaid reduced. In that case, the household does have a right to complete a meal application if they think they qualify for free meals based on their household size and income. And if you determine that they are free based on their household size and income, then that would override the direct certification list qualifier of Medicaid reduced. Next slide. So just some reminders about your direct certification list. You want to keep this list updated, know any changes or transfers on the list. School districts must have a printed list or a saved Excel file list of names on file to document the student's eligibility. To share eligibility, if a student transfers to another district, you can send a copy of the student's approval letter, that attachment D. You can notify that other school in writing on school letterhead, or an email from the former SFA stating the eligibility status is also sufficient. Next slide. So that was an overview of the direct certification system. There's obviously more to this system. So if you want to learn more, go into more detail, we didn't cover, possible matches and those kind of things. So there is a training available on our website, and it is being updated and will be posted to our website soon. So you can watch the current training, or a new updated training will be posted to our website as well. But both have good information and can help you learn more about the direct certification system. So to get started with the free and reduced priced meal applications, the National School Lunch Program Permanent Agreement And free and reduced price policy statement with the NDE requires distribution and availability of the meal application and letter to all enrolled students, except those directly certified for free and reduced price meals and students enrolled in schools that operate the Community Eligibility Provision, or CEP. The NDE encourages all SFAs to begin early and repeat many times over the summer the need for families to complete a meal application for school year 23-24. This communication should emphasize that free and reduced price meal eligibility is a major factor in determining school-wide funding and support from state and other resources. Applications can be sent by mail, email, or sent home in a packet. And you cannot require a household to complete an application, either online or a paper meal application. You have to distribute them to everyone, but you cannot require them to require families to fill them out and return them to you. If you're using an online application as an option, you do also need to have the option for completing a paper application. Not everyone can fill out an online application, so a paper application must also be available as an option. Next slide. So households must be given the letter to households, which is attachment B, the household meal application, which is attachment C, and optional forms, which may be included, are attachment E for self-employed individuals and attachment L, the sharing information, and L1, sharing information with Medicaid or CHIP. Forms are updated annually, so please make sure that you're using the most current version. You're allowed to add your school contact information, fill in the fillable portion of the forms, and the program specific to your school on attachment L. We just ask that you don't edit the actual content of the forms. Hard copies of these forms can be found in your handout packet. And just as a reminder, if you weren't with us for part 1, school food authorities wishing to use an online or an electronic income eligibility application must request approval annually from the NDE Nutrition Services. So you need to provide a copy of the meal application to our office associate, Judy, at the email address listed in part 1, and our team will review the application for completeness and will issue written approval. Next slide. The next slide just shows where on our Nutrition Services website, the school year 23-24 meal application is available. Soon, the Food and Nutrition Services school year 23-24 prototype applications will be translated into over 50 different languages. They are still available in the older version in different languages. And Nutrition Services also has the Spanish translation of a number of our forms available on our website at the location listed here on this slide. Next slide. So this slide just shows where you can find that information on our website, the school year 23-24 meal application, its accompanying household letter, and other attachments for school year 23-24 are available on our website. To find these forms on our website, you'll go to the school meals program and then click on forms and resources. You can then find them by clicking on application and income eligibility, and that'll take you to attachments A through L. Word versions of the forms are available so that you can insert your school's information, the date, and any other pertinent information. And a handout or a screenshot and handout of where to find these forms was included earlier in your handout packet. Next slide. So let's do a quick review of how households qualify for free or reduced price meals with an application. Households that complete an application based on categorical eligibility includes a household application for a foster child, a household application with a SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR number, a household application for homeless, migrant, or runaway. And then the other way to qualify with a free and reduced price meal application is to be free or reduced based on income eligibility. And this requires a household application listing all household members and income received from each household member. Next slide. So let's first talk about processing meal applications where students qualify based on categorical eligibility. The first category we're going to talk about is processing an application with foster children. A foster child is defined as one whose care and placement is the responsibility of the state or who is placed by a court with a caretaker household. This does not apply to informal arrangements that may exist outside of the court system. When processing an application with foster children, keep in mind that foster children automatically qualify for free meals with no additional documentation required to confirm their eligibility. However, the eligibility for other children in the household is still based on household size and income, including any personal use income the foster child receives. Therefore, other children in the household may qualify for free meals or reduced price meals, or may even be denied benefits based on their household size and income. Foster payments received by the family for care of the child should not be included as income. Next slide. Homeless, migrant, or runaway children automatically qualify for free meals as well. However, the district is required to have additional documentation on file to approve these applications. Acceptable documentation includes the district's direct certification list or information from the school's migrant coordinator or the district's homeless or runaway liaison before certifying the child as eligible for free meals. Katie did include more information about the homeless liaison in her school nutrition program update sent on July 5th, 2023. As with foster children, the eligibility of other children in the household is still based on the household size and income. Next slide. If a household qualifies for SNAP, which stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or TANF, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or FDPIR, which is the Food Distribution Program on Indian reservations, they must list their household's master case number. There is a single box on the application to report the number, and you'll be looking for a 5 to 9 digit number. We typically see 6 digits, and if you see more than 6 digits, it's because the household is probably listing the zeros that preceded their number. Households reporting a master case number automatically qualify for free meals. Next slide. Next, we're going to talk about processing an income application. For purposes of the application process, we define income to include current income, gross income before any deductions such as taxes, Social Security taxes, insurance premiums, or charitable contributions and bonds. And household is defined as a group of related or non-related people living under one roof as an economic unit, as one economic unit. Next slide. The income eligibility guidelines, or abbreviated IEG, are used to determine eligibility for free and reduced priced meals based on the family's income. Food and Nutrition Services makes these calculations based upon the federal poverty guidelines, and they're issued in the spring each year. Next slide. The Food and Nutrition Services adjust its eligibility guidelines so that children from families whose income equals 130% of the poverty level or less are eligible for free meals. Children from families whose income is more than 130%, but no more than 185% of the poverty level are eligible for reduced price meals. And children from families whose household income is above 185% of the poverty level for their household size pay full price for their meals or their paid price meals. Processing an income application requires the use of Attachment A, the Income Eligibility Guidelines, which is included in your handout packet. This is the chart school districts use to approve households for free and reduced price meal benefits. Income amounts are listed as annual, monthly, twice a month, every 2 weeks, or weekly for the free and reduced price guidelines. This Attachment A is not to be distributed to the households. The income chart that appears on the second page of the household meal application are the reduced price guidelines. Households may qualify for free or reduced price meals if their income falls at or below the levels listed on the chart. Income is based on gross income before taxes. Next slide. Free and reduced meal applications should be date stamped when the application is received. This is the date can be used as the date eligibility can be determined or extended. They must be approved based on the information the household submits on the application. You do need to follow up on any missing or vague information. Document that on the application, the info that you received with the date that you received it and by whom. Applications need to be processed within 10 operating days when school is in session. So from the time you receive the application, you have 10 operating days to process the application. And eligibility determinations are valid for the school year. So they're valid for the whole school year, year-long eligibility. And applications may be shared between SFAs or between school districts. So if you receive an application from another school, it's your responsibility to ensure that the application has been correctly approved. We also ask that you initial and date the application once you've reviewed it. Once the application has been reviewed, every household that applies must be notified in writing of the results. The notice of the approval or denial letter, which is Attachment D, can be used to notify households who applied with either a meal application or who are directly certified. An example of Attachment D is shown on the right hand of the screen or the slide here, and a hard copy of the form is also included in your handout packet. So let's look at a comparison of application types. The application based on income requires more information from the household. It asks that for the last 4 digits of the Social Security number of the signing adult, or the applicant to check the box indicating he or she does not have a Social Security number. Current household income, the source of that income, all household members, including the child, and the signature of the adult household member completing the application. The application based on categorical eligibility requires less information. Applications submitted for children who are categorically eligible based on receipt by the household of SNAP, TANF, or FDPR our benefits only need to list the children they are applying for, provide a case number, and sign the application. All children in the household are eligible for free meals based on any of the household members receiving SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR benefits. Next slide. The next 7 application examples can be found in your handout packet, and you may follow along with the handouts. You will also need to have attachment A, the income guidelines, which is in the handout packet. Our first example involves a master case number. When reviewing applications, you need to make sure that all sections of the application are completed properly, and all information is included before the application can be approved. A complete application with a master case number will include the student's name, the household's master case number for SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR, and a signature of the adult. If we look at this example, we have Justin Brown listed at the top in the red box. In part 2, the master case number has been entered in the yellow box. And in part 4, Sue Brown has signed the application as shown in the blue box. She's not required to list the last 4 digits of her Social Security number or mark the box for no Social Security number. In part 2 of the application, the master case number has been listed. Just as a reminder, do not accept any of the following as a master case number. Do not accept an individual Social Security number, and do not accept a Medicaid number or EBT number. Remember, the only way households are approved for benefits with Medicaid is through the district's direct certification list. If any of these 3 numbers are reported as a master case number, it will result as an error during the administrative review. And just to note, now that we have direct certification, the number of applications that you receive with a master case number has greatly been reduced. So you're probably not going to get a lot of applications with a master case number, but just in case you do, this is an example of how you would approve it. The school district is responsible for completing the bottom portion of each application. The determining official is the person responsible for approving students for meal benefits. The determining official must sign and date each application. So take a look at the bottom portion of this application. With a master case number, Justin automatically qualifies for free meals, so the boxes for free and categorical eligible for SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR have all been marked. The determining official, Mary Nelson, has signed and dated the application. One thing I did want to note on the date approved, make sure you list the month, day, and year, so we have the exact approval date for when the benefits began. Next slide. Our next example involves an income application in which a single frequency of pay has been reported. A complete income application includes the student's names, the names of all household members, and the current income for each person listed. A complete application also includes the signature of an adult and the last 4 digits of a Social Security number, or the box checked for no Social Security number. If you take a look at our example, the children's names have all been listed in the top of the application outlined in the red colored box. In part 3, the household members have been listed in the yellow box, and the total household count reported as 5. Income has been listed for John Wright and Mary Wright in the green box, and part 3 instructs the family to report total household gross income, which is income before taxes. Mary Wright has signed the application as shown in the blue box and has listed her last 4 digits of her Social Security number in the orange box for a complete application. Next slide. Households can report income at any increment, so they can report it weekly, bi-weekly, every other week, monthly, or annual. If the household reports a single frequency of income, no conversion is required. So if you drop down to the bottom portion of the application, we have a household size of 5, and their total application is $2,500 per month. If you look at the income guideline chart, your attachment A, and locate a household size of 5 in the first column, and then slide across to the monthly income, you'll see that the Wright family qualifies for free meals because their income is at or below the amount listed under free meals on the chart. The determining official has signed and dated the application. In example 3, we have an income application in which multiple frequencies of pay have been reported. The information listed on this slide is required to be completed on the application before it can be approved. The children have been listed at the top of the application in the red box. In part 3, all household members have been listed in the yellow box. And in the green box, you can see Mary Smith reports $1,200 per month, and she also earns $100 a week at a second job. George Smith has reported $10,000 per year for his income. George has signed the application and has reported the last 4 digits of his Social Security number. Next slide. If multiple frequencies of income are reported, like in this example, you will need to convert all income to an annual amount. So we must convert multiple frequencies to annual pay before combining them to determine the household's total annual income. You take monthly income times 12, weekly income times 52, income reported every 2 weeks times 26, and income reported twice per month times 24. In approving this application, we have a household size of 4. However, we must determine the household's total income. So for Mary Smith, we must convert her 2 sources of income to annual income. And then we combine that with George Smith's annual income of $10,000 per year for a total annual income of $29,600. Next slide. So if we go back to the income guideline chart and drop down to a household size of 4, we see that with an annual income of $29,600, this household qualifies for free meals. The determining official has signed and dated the application. I've also highlighted here in the orange box is where you can find the income conversions for converting income reported in multiple frequencies to annual income. Next slide. Up next, let's discuss how to calculate income for self-employed individuals. We'll use George Smith from our last example as an example for self-employed individuals. On this form, we are reporting income from specific lines from the first page of the 1040 tax return and Schedule 1. Losses are subtracted to determine the total income. If the total adds up to a negative number, it must be reported as 0 on the application under the last column labeled All Other Income. 0 income requires no follow-up on the part of the school. So if we take a look at our example, we have a business income of $25,000, a farm loss of $15,000, and therefore the total income for George Smith is $10,000. In your handout packet, we've included a sample of the first page of a 1040 tax return and Schedule 1 so you can see where these numbers come from. When reviewing a tax return, Income reported under wages, salaries, and tips, or adjusted gross income cannot be used to determine a household's income. The next example is an example with no income. Families can report 0 income. The application can be approved for free meals for the rest of the school year. If a family is withdrawing money from their savings each month or receiving help from others, the amount can be listed on the application as their source of income. The household can then be approved based on the amount reported. And looking at this example, we have Ben Jones listed at the top of the application in part 3, and we have Sarah and Ben listed as household members with no income reported. She has signed the application and reported the last 4 digits of her Social Security number. In the bottom portion of the application, the household size is 2 and the total income is 0. Ben qualifies for free meals based on household size and income, and no additional follow-up with this household is required. The determining official has signed and dated the application. The next 3 examples involve approving applications with foster children. So if you have an application that involves a foster child only, a complete application includes the student's name, the box marked for each foster child as demonstrated here in the yellow box, and the signature of an adult. The last 4 digits of a Social Security number are not required. Remember that foster children automatically qualify for free meals. In looking at this example, Jesse Martin is listed at the top of the application. The box has been marked indicating he is a foster child, and Phyllis Miller has signed the application. With this application, Jesse automatically qualifies for free meals. The categorical eligibility and foster child boxes have been marked, and the determining official has signed and dated the application. Example 6 is an income application listing both foster and non-foster children. The complete application includes the student's names, a box is checked for each foster child, and current income is listed for each person, which would include any personal use income the foster child receives. As a reminder, personal use income is not the payment a household receives for care of the child. A complete application also requires the signature of an adult and the last 4 digits of a Social Security number, or the box marked no Social Security number. Foster children automatically qualify for free meals. However, that benefit does not automatically extend to all other children in the household. In this example, the children have been listed at the top of the application. Chris Nelson has been identified as the foster child in the family. In part 3, all household members have been listed, and Gary and Denise Peters have reported their income. Denise has signed the application and reported the last 4 digits of her Social Security number. To approve this application, we have a household size of 5. Their total income is $1,200 every 2 weeks. So if we go back to the income chart and find a household size of 5 for every 2 weeks, you'll see that all children in the household qualify for free meals. So in the bottom portion of the application, the free box has been marked, the income and the categorically eligible boxes have also been marked, including the foster child box. The determining official has signed and dated this application. Next slide. Finally, in our last example, we have an income application listing both foster and non-foster children. In this example, the children's names have been listed at the top of the application. Kristen Thomas is the foster child living with this family, In Part 3, all household members have been listed and income has been reported for Steve and Debbie Matthews. Steve Matthews signed the application and reported his last 4 digits of his Social Security number. To approve this application, we have a household size of 6, and their total income is $5,200 per month. If we look at the income guidelines for a household of 6, $5,200 per month exceeds the qualifying, the income guidelines for free meals. But if you continue to slide across over to the reduced price section, this household does qualify for reduced price meals. So Kristen, the foster child, automatically qualifies for free meals, and the 3 Matthews children qualify for reduced price meals. If you look at the bottom portion of the application, you can see how we have reported the results. You can have more than one eligibility determination on a single application in this instance. The application was signed and dated by the determining official. And I just wanted to say, if you receive an application for a homeless, migrant, or runaway child, the approval process is similar to the foster child examples we just went through, with one major difference. The only way that the homeless, migrant, or runaway children can be approved as categorically eligible for free meals with an application is if the district has documentation on file from their migrant coordinator or their homeless runaway liaison certifying them as eligible. So remember, if there are other children in that household, those benefits also would not extend automatically to them, and they would still be approved based on the household size and income. Next slide. If you need to notify families of a change to their benefits, you would use attachment D3, which is the notice of change of benefits. Reasons for a benefit change may be that the family provides new information as an increase in benefits. There was an error in processing the application, or a DC error. If the benefits are to be reduced or terminated, households must be given 10 calendar days written notice. If benefits are to be increased, the change will go into effect immediately. Remember that due to year-long eligibility, households are not required to report changes in income, household size, or their participation in programs that would affect their child's eligibility status. So their benefits are good for the entire school year. Next slide. And to wrap up this section, this is just a summary slide of the 2 processes for determining free and reduced price meal eligibility that we discussed today. This chart is included in your handout packet. So for direct certification, you're going to upload your enrollment into Person ID and/or that direct certification enrollment tab in the system. You're going to review your direct certification match list and extend benefits to all household members if it's a program that can be extended. You're then going to send your approval or denial letter, attachment D, to all of your households on your direct certification list. And then remember to update their eligibility status in your student information system or on your benefit issuance document. For free and reduced price meal applications, if students are not on that direct certification list, you'll need to send households the household letter attachment B, and the free and reduced price meal applications, which is attachment C. You'll then, as you get those applications back, process them within 10 school days and determine if they're eligible for free or reduced price meal benefits, or if they are denied benefits. You'll then send all households that submitted an application the approval denial letter, attachment D. And once again, update their eligibility status in your student information system or on your benefit issuance document so that they begin receiving the correct benefits, meal benefits. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean to talk about another important resource when determining free and reduced price meals.
Oh, thank you, Erica. You did a great job going through the household application process. But it is a lot of information, and we do realize there are always unique circumstances when households submit applications. And so we want to make sure you are aware of the USDA eligibility manual for school meals. The most current edition is dated July 18th, 2017, but the information in the manual is still pertinent and applies. And so this is an invaluable resource for our school bookkeepers in the whole process of the school meals program. The manual is divided into 6 sections: getting started, the basics of eligibility, establishing eligibility, the school meals application, what is required, the importance of confidentiality and disclosure, and then the requirement of verification of applications. So this is something that is available on our website under forms and resources that you can easily refer to, bookmark, because you will be using it now as applications come into your office and you are in the approval process. Many times when a school contacts me or any program specialist, we just refer to the manual because the information is usually included in the manual. So let's go to the next slide. And using the manual, why it's important. We all know that there are special situations for determining household composition, and the manual does a nice job of explaining those different situations. And for example, we can see that it addresses adopted children, children residing at institutions, residential care facilities, children away at school attending college. I know that was a question in the chat box earlier today, that we have children in a household away at college. They come home for the summer. Are they included as members of the household? And yes, they are. And any income that they have would be included on the household application, but they are considered a member of the household. Households with joint custody situations where the children go back and forth. If both households apply, the household with the greater benefit, we apply that benefit for those situations. If we go to the next slide, it addresses foreign exchange students. This is a common question that we receive in our office. What about foreign exchange students? Are they automatically eligible for free meals? And the answer is no. They are considered a member of the household in which they reside, and they are determined with the other students in the household based on household size and income. Foster children, as Erica went over, they're eligible for free meals based on being a foster child, but that benefit does not extend to other household members, but they are counted as a household member on a household application. So you can just see how helpful this resource is in determining household composition. If we move to the next slide, the manual also has what is included in reportable income, because that is frequently asked by households. What do they report for income? What's included, not included as income? And so the manual does a nice job of explaining what is reported. gross income from wages received, net income for those self-employed, such as farmers, unemployment benefits, any investment income is included. You can go through this page and it gives you a good idea of what is reported. And then on the next slide, what's excluded from income. So the value of assistance to children from assistance programs, housing assistance, volunteer payments. It goes through a nice list of what is not included as income. If you win the lottery and it's a lump sum payment, that is not included as income, which is something that's always interesting to me. If we go on down to the next slide, there is a section on special situations that can occur, like for our seasonal workers that maybe are not employed year long. How do we determine their income? There's also a section on school staff that don't work in the summer. So it's a great resource because it's in the manual, and oftentimes I just clip that section and I'll send it back to a school that's asking me the question. And because it's in the manual, we know it's from USDA and it's the rule that applies in these situations. So the next slide, I want to emphasize the importance of confidentiality and disclosure of student information. It is of utmost importance that we prevent overt identification of students' meal eligibility. The manual does a nice job of explaining that this is confidential information that cannot be shared. It also explains what federal, state, and local programs can have access to individual student eligibility information, which is very limited. When parental or guardian approval is required prior to disclosure, such as when a student applies for a scholarship, and meal eligibility is taken into consideration, then if that information is disclosed by the school, you must have parental consent for releasing that information. And then once again, if someone comes to you from the school and asks for that information, then you can refer to the manual to know if you can provide that or not. Typically, the answer is going to be no, but you have the manual to refer to. Without parental or guardian approval, disclosure of free and reduced eligibility is not allowed in most situations. So let's move on to the next slide. The next slide is the eligibility manual. Not only goes through the process of you know what needs to be on an application for approval, which Erica has addressed in her section, but it also goes into depth about the process of verification. And verification is the process of looking at a select number of applications and verifying that the information that the household selected or household indicated on their application is correct and that they are eligible for the benefit that they were approved for. So in the eligibility manual, it talks about the initial steps of verification, application selection procedures, including the different sample sizes that schools must do, when to review questionable applications, required procedures for notification, and the requirements for following up with households to make sure that they submit the information, what is allowable sources of information for the purpose of verification, and then how to determine if verification is complete. So we're going to take a deeper dive into verification, but just know that this manual is available and can guide you through the process. Next slide. The process of verification begins on or before October 1st. And once again, it's the confirmation of eligibility for free and reduced price meals. So it is a requirement for each SFA that collects meal applications to annually verify the eligibility of students from a sample of household applications that have been approved for free and reduced price benefits for the school year. And you can refer to your handout that's in your packet in regard to verification. As I said, the process can begin on or before October 1st of each school year. And we also have information on our website, not only in the eligibility manual, but also information on our website about the basics of verification. Because schools are only required to do it one time per year, it is always a good idea to review the basics of verification to make sure you are understanding the process. And then with conducting verification, you are required to complete a report called the verification report that is in the CMP system. We also provide training, online training specific to the verification process that's available on our website. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide, Allie. So what is verification? Well, there's two different types of verification, and I'll do my best to explain these to you. If your school reported less than a 20% non-response rate for verification in school year 22-23, your school is eligible to complete the alternate one verification method. And this method is where you randomly select 3% of applications from your application pool, those paper applications, or if you use an online system, 3% of your online applications, and you are required to verify, randomly select those and conduct verification where the household needs to submit information to demonstrate that the information submitted on the application was accurate. So in regard to income, they must submit that information. So a 20% non-response rate. So if you are wondering if you need to do alternate one, you can go back in the CMP system to school year 22-23 and look at your verification report. And if you had more than 20% not respond to verification, where they actually changed from whatever their eligibility to paid because they did not respond, then you fall into the next category, which is you have over 20% non-response rate. Then you are required to complete standard verification. And standard verification is a more targeted verification where you select 3% of your applications from what is called error-prone applications. And error-prone applications are those applications where the reported annual income is within $100 of the monthly income guidelines or $1,200 of the yearly annual guidelines. So it's a much targeted verification process. So SFAs will be notified by NDE of which verification method you are required to complete in 22-23 required to complete in school year 23-24, along with emailed instructions around the beginning of October. You can, as I mentioned, you can also check yourself by going into the 22-23 verification report and looking at your results of verification from last year. So a simple way to look at that is if you were required last year to verify 3 applications and only 2 households responded, and you had 1 household that did not respond, then you have a 33% non-response rate, which would require you to do standard verification or that error-prone verification. So let's move to the next slide. So what are the steps in verification? Number 1, identify the number of meal applications by gathering all meal applications, paper applications, your online applications received between July 1st and October 1st. Remove from the pool 2 kinds of applications, and this is very important. Any applications you have received from students who are directly certified for free or reduced price meals. Now, if they were on your direct certified list, direct certification list as Medicaid reduced, and they submitted an application, and based on household size and income, they were eligible for free, you keep that application in the pool because that eligibility is based on household size and income. So remove those from your pool. They are duplicates of a process you have already completed with direct certification. So they are not included. Keep them in a separate file away from your other applications. And then also remove any applications you have received that show a student qualified for paid price meals. So a household submitted an application based on household size and income. They are not eligible for free or reduced price meals. They are qualified for paid. So you're going to remove those as well. So your pool of applications now is those applications that are approved for free and reduced meals based on household size, income, or they have indicated a SNAP number or a food stamps number or their foster application, okay, where they've indicated that the student is foster and they didn't appear on your direct certification list. So you are going to determine your sample size by calculating 3% of the total applications from step 1 above. So for example, maybe the number of applications that we received is 10. We're going to take 10 times 3%. That would be 0.3. So we can't verify a third of an application. We have to round up to verify one application. The same would apply if we had 20 applications and it would be 0.6, we would still need to round up. We always round up when we're talking applications or when we're talking students. We always round up. So let's move to the next slide. Step 3 is complete the verification process by randomly selecting your 3% sample of all applications you received as of October 1st. If you are required to do standard verification, you'll be looking at those error-prone applications in your pool first. Now, what does random mean? That's you can lay them all out on a table and have someone come in and select 3 applications without looking at the households, turn them upside down, however you choose to do random, but you can't target a household, or you can't say, well, we're going to verify this household because of. You can do that, but that's in addition to your 3%. Our office does not encourage you to target households. You can, but it's in addition to your 3%. Now, number 4, ensure your school's confirming official has reviewed, signed, and dated all selected applications that you have in your verification selection. So you've selected your 3 applications from your pool. That confirming official must review those applications to make sure that the initial determination made by the determining official was done correctly. You don't want to start verification if there is an error on the application. So the confirming official reviews the application for accuracy. They determine if it was determined correctly. They sign off as the confirming official and provide the date that they did so. Now, determining and confirming officials cannot be the same person. So keep that in mind. Who will be your confirming official? Next slide. The 5th step in the verification process is use the forms available on the Nutrition Services website to complete the verification process. We have our selection letter for school year 23-24 posted, which notifies the family that they were selected for verification and what information they need to provide. We have the results letter after the household has complied with submitting the required documentation and the determination has been made that either the information they submitted on their application has been verified through documentation of pay stubs, information that to substantiate the income that they reported. There's instructions for submitting the online report in the CMP system. Schools are also required to complete what's called the Civil Rights Summary at the same time they complete verification. This is a form that is required. It is not sent to our office, but it is retained in your verification file. And then there's also a tracker that's available to help you through this process of where you are in the process. because you'll send out the selection letter, you'll provide a date for when the household needs to send back the information. You are required to send a second reminder if the household does not comply with submitting the information with another due date. So it's a process that the tracker is very helpful to keep you on track to make sure that you meet the deadlines of completing verification. Let's move to the next slide. Step number 6. So the household has submitted their information. It needs to be signed off by the verifying official who has looked at the information submitted, who has determined that that initial eligibility was done correctly or not done correctly based on what the household submitted. Now, the verifying official can be the same person as the determining official. So the person that determines it can also verify the information that the household submits. It needs to be signed and dated when verification is considered complete or done. All information in regard to verification, what the household submits, needs to be kept on file with the application. And then you are required to complete a verification report in CMP by November 15th or before. And that is a very important date to keep in mind, that you start as of October 1st and you have to end the process no later than November 15th. You can complete it earlier, but it has to be completed by November 15th. So this just shows you where to find that verification report. It is under CMP, and we go to the application tab. And right under the application tab, we can see application packet. So you've completed your application packet, you've completed your food safety inspections for last year, you've completed your financial report if you are a non-public sponsor, and now you're going to complete your verification report. So you'll click on that. That will take you into the screen over to the right, where you will complete that report with information. Once again, I've circled that November 15th date. There is a handout in your packet for verification and how to complete the report. And so with that, we're going to take a quick break.